NXT review, everybody.
Guys, I've done a lot of these reviews. I've done over 2,000 reviews right now. I haven't reached 2,100, but I'm over 2,000. Yay. But usually it would be what I thought of the show, the production value, and how they were booking the people. This one might be a bit different because I'm wondering, is this booking for NXT or is this booking for one individual? And it's not Vince. For this episode, this one episode, is it booking for one person? I don't know if I'm right. I think I'm not. But I'm going to want your opinion. Leave your comments below. This is what I'm thinking. Opening, we got Trick Williams versus Dragunov. Now, I've never been a big opponent of Trick Williams. I'm not going to lie. I've never been a big opponent of him. I never thought he was a bad wrestler. But I always felt like he should have been off on his own to develop himself because he had been the hype man for Carmelo Hayes for so long. I felt that he is so stagnant that he's never going to get anywhere if he went by himself. Now, I never thought he was a bad wrestler, but when I saw this, I saw a glimpse of how he really is. Now, does it mean it's a good thing? Yes. Him going against Dragunov showed that he has some glimpses of good, practical wrestling. Does he have the entire package? No. I don't see the entire package for... The reason I'm botching here is because when I look at Trick, I want to say the boy needs a lot of work. And he does. But I also have to say, as long as he's with Carmelo, he will never get anywhere. Ever. It's not about if he has charisma. It's not about if he has mic skills. It's not about if he has the ring skill or to be a ring general. It's none of that. It's about as long as he's the hype man for Carmelo, he will never get anywhere. He will always be back here. That's what he'll always be. Period. This was a moment, and you heard Vic Joseph make it very clear, along with Booker T. Hearing them both say, this is his moment to shine, doesn't mean a damn thing until he walks away from Carmelo. Him is him. But Trick is tricky. How you doing? I'm him. Oh, hi. I'm Trick Williams. I'm just a hype man that's taller, but I don't do nothing. That's him. That's how he sounds. He's a nothing as long as he's still a hype man. I see that he could be something if they finally separate each other, but I don't see that happening too soon, so he's still going to be relegated to nothing. Now, I wasn't surprised that he lost. Now, I know I could talk a little bit about JD. I don't believe I messed up on his name. I think the reason I messed up on it is due to the fact that Trick is involved in this. Because does this give Trick anything? No. And that's what's hurting the situation for him. He had nothing. He gained nothing against Dragunov, who, and this is the problem I see. A lot of the NXT UK, the reason I'm getting angry and frustrated here is because the NXT UK wrestlers have not gotten anywhere. JD McDonough, I don't believe Dragunov's going to get anywhere. I don't think Tyler Bates is going to get anywhere. I don't believe any of the other wrestlers. Yes, Gallus currently has the titles, and they did win against Blade and Iche. And I will talk about them in a moment. But I don't see them getting anything else because it seems like they don't focus on them. And I find that a waste for Trick Williams, Dragunov, JD McDonough, and Tyler Bates. It just feels like they deserve better. Now, mind you, I know I got to say something about Tyler dealing with schism, and I will get to them in a moment, but still, you get my point. Now, let's get to the tag titles. Iche and Blade versus Gallus. Good match. But here's the thing. I like Gallus. Iche and Blade, I don't feel them. They're not bad wrestlers at all, but I just don't feel them. There's something missing for me. That's the reason why I keep messing up Ichi's name. I keep mispronouncing his name because there's something missing. I'm just not feeling him. I may remember Blade's name, and I somewhat remember Ichi's name, even though I'm mispronouncing the name, but they're missing something. They're too generic. So I didn't expect them to win here, and they didn't. They need something more. They need something new. And when they were with Odyssey Jones, you would think they gained something. They didn't. So I didn't care. But then we get that moment of the pie face, and I believe I'll use that as my thumbnail. Pie face. No. Not pie face. No. Because well, I should, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to use a pie face. But pretty much two guys bring a part of me will actually want to insert it in this video, but I'm not doing it. I'm just uploading it directly. But pretty much Gallus was offered a cake for the 2-year anniversary getting beaten by Pretty Deadly. They were not Pretty Deadly, the guys who brought it in. One of them got shoved in the face by a big-ass cake that might have been at least a foot long, about 10 inches long maybe, 10 to 11 inches long. And then pretty much Gallus get their ass whooped by Pretty Deadly. Fine, I enjoyed it. And I'm alright with that. But I still feel like all the pro wrestlers from the UK are not getting treated correctly. They deserve better. And it's not because New Day didn't treat them right. I just don't believe the booking's right. I'm just saying, you guys, something below. Now, what did we get? Dyad versus Chase U. Now, this happened right after the promo from Tyler Bates. Tyler wanted to make it clear that he's on a new journey and it's going to be magical. And he's glad that people embraced him after he moved to the United States. And it means a lot to him. Then, not Gallus, but Schism. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Gallus. Maybe because I did Gallus first before I did Schism. And yeah, I got them mixed up. If you guys don't know me by now, I screw up everything. But this is what happened with Tyler Bates dealing with Schism. They came out pretty much trying to convince him to understand, just like what happened with Thea, they could help him. But Chase U comes out, and then they have the match. Now, mind you, they kept bringing Thea out. If Thea's completely damaged because of what Schism did to her, why would you bring her out? But to use her to promote the story. I would have liked it if they left her in the back, and she came out on her own, and she was confused. She should have never came out. She should have never came out by herself. Well, came out with them and should have came out by herself. And that would have really helped the story. In the end, Andre tried to protect her because once you see Rain come up to her, she gets scared. And pretty much Chase comes to protect her when he should be paying attention in the ring when Duke got basically handed pretty much a big L. You can understand Duke getting pissed saying, what is this? Is this Chase U or is this a charity case? And he's talking about Thea. Someone that was supposed to be in his corner, he's now sick and tired of it. And now he has an attitude against Andre for protecting Thea when he's trying to find his way to get whatever the hell he wants from Chase U, which we still don't know of. I'm just saying. I don't know if it should have been that way. I do believe Thea should have been in the back. And she felt like they were trying to overpower them. And Alva Rain was trying to mess with them on the back. And she wanted to come out and help. I think that would have been better for the booking of that match and for the story. That's just me. Guys, something below. Okay. JC James versus Indy Hartwell. Do I believe that was done correctly? Let me give it to you like this. JC James. Damn gorgeous. And just in case you guys don't notice, when women who have open tops like this that show a lot of cleavage, they like putting a lot of oil there to make you understand that they're wrestlers too. And they want to be shown everything just like a guy. I'm sorry. You can't tell me you don't look at glistening titties just like glistening pecs. Women look at glistening pecs and men. But also, we look at women who has glistening boobs. That happens. And with JC James, she did the same thing. When she was standing, you can see the glistening of the oil off her tits. And I'm going like, girl, you don't need to convince me to love you already. I think she has something next to Gigi Dolan. I've always liked Gigi. There was something special about Gigi, her attitude. She kind of reminded me of younger Paige. Just that her boobs were more apparent than Paige, even though they're probably the same size. She wears even a more tighter push-up bra than a Paige did before she got her boob job. But when I look at Jessie James, I see something in her. I see that she can have something. The question is, how are they going to book it to come out? Now, of course, Gigi came out, beat her ass, and messed up the match. And I'm not surprised. They have to have their feud, and it's got to culminate near WrestleMania, maybe at Roadblock, maybe before then. I really wish Mandy was still there, because they really needed Mandy to go to the main roster and then go their separate ways, and then we can see the true development for all three of them. At this point now, they feel like they're lost, and they got to face one another and then dig each other's self. They got to dig themselves out of the hole that Mandy put them in, or WWE for that matter, because if Mandy did tell them what was going on and didn't have a problem until it started becoming publicized, or she said, I'm not doing it, either one of them caused them to end up in that situation. I'm just saying. Now, let's talk about Tony D'Angelo versus Von Wagner. They tricked Von Wagner into a match. Mr. Stone told him, don't do it. They're trying to use you. At first he said, no, I declined, until they pushed his buttons and he agreed. And he told him, no, they're tricking you into it. And he lost. The Don and the Underboss pretty much enjoyed the win. Even though the Underboss didn't interfere, the Don did win. And after it was over, when pretty much they did a short moment of Mr. Stone telling him, what did I tell you? He said, you are not my going to say, I warned you. And then they went into the ring with Don and went with Stax. And pretty much the Don put over Stax, saying clearly, last week, Stax had a chance to go for the North American title. He chose either to go for the title or help me. He chose to help me. And Stax says, family always comes first, Don. He says, no problem. I always see you that way. You're my family. But he told Dijak, I'm done with this. It's time to end this. Let's have a, what is it? What type of street fight he wants to do? Let's see, what was it? A jailhouse street fight. What? Roadblock is going to have a jailhouse street fight. Couldn't you just say a street fight and the person who loses leaves WWE? Wouldn't it be better to have that stip instead of just having a jailhouse street fight with no stip saying that Dijak has to leave? I mean, they're not going to get rid of him, but you know what I mean. They didn't have to do it. Just say they're going to have a street fight. I'm just saying. They don't have to dress it up to be what it is. It's a street fight. You don't need to make it more prettier than it is. But that's where they went. Now, I can talk about Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. But I'm going to leave it. Because when it comes down to it, the question is going to be, will Hank still be involved with Dempsey and Drew? I don't know yet. That's the reason why I want to wait a couple of weeks to see where Hank is going to be put up in this, unless he's done. Unless Hank is now finished, and now Charlie Dempsey is going to work with Drew only, and then either Drew's going to be his manager or he's going to be his tag partner. I don't know yet. We'll find out soon. Let's talk about the training session with Meiko Sakamura and all of NXT at the Performance Center, along with a Roxanne Perez. Was it a good segment? Yes. Does it show a bit of Japanese attitude? Yes. Because essentially put, look, Meiko is not a bad guy. She's a face. Roxanne's a face. So neither one of them has a gripe against one another. So when Roxanne asked, could she be part of the training session with all the other girls in the Performance Center? They did it. They did sit-ups, they did push-ups, they did squats. They pretty much all of them copped out except for Roxanne. And then Meiko pretty much after the 1,000 squats, she said, now the real wrestling begins. And as they lock up a couple of times, you hear a Roxanne say, wait a minute, we're going to have a match in 2 weeks. Should we actually be doing this? She says, don't stop, let's go. And they continued. They kept doing chain wrestling. And in the end, after it was all said and done, Mako made it very clear, to be a champion, it's not about this. It's about this. She wants to see that in Roxanne. She wants to face a worthy opponent. And now seeing how long this girl has been in wrestling, she was roughly about 20 years old when she started. She has been wrestling many years. I am older than she is by 8 years? This girl has been wrestling a long ass time. And I tip my hat to Mako Sakamura. That woman knows her stuff. She worked her ass off to become a legend in American wrestling to a certain extent through WCW, through all the other promotions, including Japanese ones. I respect the woman. And I kind of hope they do more with her, but technically they don't really much. She only comes around once in a while. But it is good to see they are doing something with her and help putting over the new talent that is in WWE. So when it comes down to it, I am interested in seeing how far actual training has gone, because I doubt that, taking away from this segment, you don't think Roxanne has been working with Mako to make sure that she can really keep up with her in her style, because she's going to do it. So I want to see it. Let's see here. The final, well, I'm not going to talk about the Kato and Apollo feud. It's not necessary. He's pissed because he was left alone. That's Kato. I'm not going to say any more than that. But let's talk about the final thing, and that is the wrestling match that was very interesting. Well, I know I can talk about... I know I should talk about this, but I think I should wait because we still don't know what's going on with... when it comes to Isla Dawn and Abba Fire, and them dealing with Niall and Patterson, I believe her name is. I do not want to talk more than that. A part of me wants to, but it counts on where they're going with this, because, to be honest, shouldn't Isla Dawn and Alba Fire be going after the new champs? I don't want to see them go after them. I'd rather see them go after the champs. But I'm going to leave it because I want to see how this is going to develop in the next couple of weeks. So that's all I'm saying. Final match. It's a title match between Jinder Mahal and Braun Breaker. I know there are going to be people that are going to laugh. And that's the reason why I'm laughing. Not because I'm laughing at Jinder. Not laughing at Braun. And not even laughing at Grayson Waller, which I got to talk about. Was this all about one person? That's what this is going to be about. And I'll get to it in a moment. But this is about how they decided to do this so quickly. And instead of building it up, they decided to just throw it out there within a week and a half. Maybe 2 weeks. Let's say about 2 weeks almost. I didn't expect Jinder to win. Of course, there was no way he was going to win. He wasn't going to win. You hear me botching because I'm thinking about Alan Scher dealing with the Creeds again. And they got taken away, and it was only Jinder and Braun in the ring. Was the match bad? No. Jinder is a good standard wrestler. You guys can hate him because you think he's garbage as a wrestler. This is Jinder. These are bad wrestlers. These are good wrestlers. He's here. There's nothing wrong with being an average wrestler as long as you know how to make your job look good. And it looked fine. He lost. So I didn't have a problem with it. But then I did. Because if you're really going to make such a fuss about Jinder being a WWE champion, why would you just quickly do this? I know this didn't have that much strength. Particularly that promo he did. He botched it multiple times. and I began to laugh my ass off a bit. I won't lie about it. I've never said I'm a Jinder fan. I do love his music. His theme music is good. I like it. It's actually quite good. But does that mean he's a great wrestler? No, but he's a good one. He's fine. But I do believe they could have shown a little more respect and made at least an extra week. Give it 2 to 3 weeks, not just a week, maybe 2. I'm just saying. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Could this be for only one person? Grayson Waller took over the show. He flipped through the channels, I believe, and then he said, I got control of the remote, I got control of this show, and I'm sick of this. I don't have nothing to do. But you know what? For Roadblock, I'm doing the Grayson Waller effect, and I want HBK on it. Guys, let me ask you a question. HBK, Shawn Michaels. He hasn't wrestled in quite a while. The last time he generally wrestled was over in Jeddah, I believe, in Saudi Arabia, when he was with everybody else. It almost broke his freaking neck trying to do a helo over the top turn rope. He could have broke his neck or at least concussed himself. He's lucky he didn't. I have this strange feeling. This was meant for him. This show was meant for him to set himself up to have a match. Now, mind you, Grayson Waller is a very great wrestler and he's got good charisma. He is someone I believe can do some really good work if you book him correctly. But due to the fact there's not that many people in NXT that he can work with, that's going to mean anything. Shawn Michaels decided that he's going to interject himself into this to help Grayson Waller to get somewhere. Maybe it's due to the fact that Triple H wants to take him to the main roster, or he finally wants to put the title on him and drop it from Braun Breaker after WrestleMania. But I truly believe that Triple H or HBK himself, maybe HBK and Triple H came together and said, hey dude, how you doing now? Everything's going right. Maybe this guy Grayson Waller needs some more work. He said, you know what? Why don't you help him? Give him something unusual, something that you normally wouldn't do. And he says, what can I do? I know. I'll have him challenge me at a pay-per-view. I'll let him whoop my ass a little bit, eventually, getting angry at me, messing with my people. Then I'll have to literally eventually get my ass whooped and say, you know what? This bastard's getting on my nerves. I'm going to have to get in the damn ring with him and I'll have to fight him and then I can put him over. This was meant for him. Now you would say this is meant for Grayson Waller, and it is. But it's also meant for Shawn Michaels. Shawn's running the company of NXT. He's running NXT. But it doesn't mean he doesn't still have that itch for wrestling. Now, mind you, I don't think he can really go that much in wrestling. But I could be wrong. And I truly hope I am, and I probably am. But this could be leading to a match between Grayson Waller and Shawn Michaels. Somewhere around WrestleMania. Probably before, maybe a week or two before WrestleMania or afterward. They will, maybe, I don't think it's going to be at Roadblock. It may be on the next pay-per-view. I could be right. That eventually, Shawn will get into the ring. Or maybe Shawn will be at ringside with someone that he personally trained. Maybe. I think it's going to probably be Shawn, but if Shawn will not go in the ring, he's going to promote someone that he personally trained in the last couple of months, and maybe that will be bringing that person in. It's a big question. Which one of them it could be. As time will go, we'll find out. But, guys, I'm just saying, this could be for one person. If it's not for Grayson Waller, it's going to be Shawn. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this NXT review. Please give me a comment below. I don't know, but you guys tell me below what you think. Peace.